Audio test one, audio test two, audio test three. Porean, sound off.
Audio test 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I'm getting so like yeah, our Discord audio is still fine. So if anyone's in chat that wants to pipe up, okay, audio okay, great. All right. So talking about cartoons today, freeform.
Yeah. Picking up where we left off
Uh,
yesterday, sorta.
well, sort of yesterday, and also whatever the fuck is going on in Proctor's Discord right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say it again. I like Titan AE. I didn't particularly care for Treasure Planet.
I like Treasure Planet a lot, but a bit of it is just because it's one of those last Disney hand-drawn movies before everything became 3D with the advent of Pixar.
This this is true, but like I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just like it's kind of like option one, option two. I prefer option two. Eh.
Uh, you know, Treasure Planet is a little bit interesting just because it's always been surrounded by rumors that it was purposefully made to kill 2D animation in Disney. That they released it as like of course there's a bunch of animators working only in 2D and they want to make this big passion project, and Disney purposefully under promotes it and meddles in the production so that it didn't fail, but so it wouldn't be profitable enough to have 2D animation uh, as a like viable strategy for Disney, so that Pixar could take over forever.
I can see that. And speaking of Disney and stuff, and Gray in chat, I'm all about Atlantis. Atlantis is probably one
Yeah,
of my last favorite Disney movies. Well,
I
of
think
the animated features.
yeah, I think that might have been the last Disney movie I was excited for, because it was like it released when I was probably the most fascinated by the myths of Atlantis, so it felt almost like tailor made for me, and I got to see it on my like, what's the term, research. Like I got to see it in like the Episcopalian youth clubs
Oh God.
cinema, and it was like a great experience. And I was like with a friend, and he told me afterwards that he was like, I tried to talk to you during the whole movie, but you wouldn't respond. I was like that into the movie. I absolutely loved that. That's probably might be like top 5 or 10 animated features for me. I really loved Atlantis.
I don't know where I would rank it for me, but it's easily in my top three for Disney feature animated. My number one, bar none, is Hercules. Probably number two is Atlantis, and three, it's like fuck, it's a real toss up.
Yeah. I mean, if I just rank like Disney animated features, then probably Atlantis at the top, and maybe Treasure Planet as number 2. Three I can't place. I really love Hercules, but I also really like Fantasia, for example. I really love that one as well.
I really do like Fantasia, but it like they wanted to make like Disney originally wanted to make it like an annual or biannual thing, but it only ever ended up having two runs. Or
I mean, it's sort of telling like the craftsmanship they had to put into that like, oh, Disney in the 40s, like soon to reach their peak in profitability, and they still like, we can't produce this every year. I mean, when you see it, it's like you understand why, because it's that
well,
good, like it's really top level animation, but
Well, yeah, like I remember when the second Fantasia came out, and I forget what segment it was. It's the one with the Firebird, and everyone's like, "Oh,
Mm.
he's like, ew, CG." I'm like, "No, motherfucker, that is set like hand animated. That there got the red line treatment. That there was fucking gorgeous."
Yeah, it's one of those where like Disney and their Prime animated on ones and twos instead of like animated as often animated on threes and fours. So it's like really big drawings, really high frame rate, and it's so impressive. Like it's, I mean, it's like top tier work. All the classic Disney from like 50s, 60s, 40s. So goddamn amazing to watch.
Not a frame of wasted animation. Actually, speaking of animation, I went to bed last night reading uh, TV tropes, specifically the
Mm.
because Pippa played that Hitchhiker game, and on the TV in the hotel, there's the second theatrical film of the Superman shorts, and I was just like, I remember those, and I just went down the rabbit hole of the production company and the guys behind it and stuff, and it was just like, man, the golden age of animation was gorgeous.
Like old Superman shorts because I don't think I've seen those.
They are fucking gorgeous. Yeah, honestly, they're all public domain. You can find them on YouTube easily and stuff.
Mm.
Just look up Superman theatrical shorts, and you can hammer
Oh,
them out in like an hour.
also it's like the old Looney Tunes they would run in between movies and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much like the animated short age of like before or in between movies.
That was like when I always watch. I had we had satellite TV when I was young, so we had all the children's channels. We got like Fox Kids, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network would always run the old Looney Tunes, those old film shorts, just like compacted together in 24-minute blocks, and I always loved those.
I know
And
for
it was like a really I thought like Looney Tunes were like regular shows, but then I learned uh, far after, that's not good English. But I learned later that they were spliced together from like many other clips, but they were I always loved those. I think they
I did
really
too.
work like short bursts.
Yeah, because like when I was a kid, I actually watched a bunch of the old Looney Tunes concurrently with Tiny Toons Adventures.
Yeah, same.
It was
Those were
just
on at the same time.
yeah, they're pretty much being broadcast around the same time and stuff. So it's kind of funny is like see like the new '90s like interpretation of Looney Tunes and stuff, and but also see like the classic stuff play like right after or before kind of thing.
Yeah, I never really liked Tiny Toons Adventures actually. It's like it felt like too childish somehow, even though yeah, I mean it was made for like 6 years old, so I get it. But it's still like I like the older animation because you know it's that it's made for both kids and adults to appreciate.
Well, yeah, that's the thing because Tiny Toons Adventures was produced, directed and produced by Steven Spielberg, and he specifically
Yeah.
made that was like, all right, this is my legitimate appealing to the kids, role kind of thing.
Yeah, isn't he like sort of obsessed about that?
Yes, the 80s and 90s for Steven Spielberg and stuff. I want to say that was kind of like pandering to the kids, his pandering to the kids phase and stuff. But he was, he liked it and he was good at it and stuff. So like, I have no complaints about that. I mean, like he literally directed Schindler's List and Jurassic Park at the same goddamn time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Tiny Toons is bad or anything, but I might have been a bit too old for it.
Well, here's the thing with Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons walked so that Animaniacs could run.
Yeah, no, that was a lot more entertaining.
Yeah, because that's pretty much how it was. Like Tiny Toons was like a proto Animaniacs, and then when Tiny Toons did good, and then Animaniacs came along and stuff, that was just like full on like Brent, just like awesomeness.
Yeah, I think Animaniacs were like aired late at night here
Really?
because I think they like thought it was too adult to have in prime time, so it was I
I'm
think it
not
was like
surprised.
9
I
p.m.
can
when
totally
released
see
it.
that. I'm not surprised because there were a
Yeah,
lot of
because everyone knows the like, yeah, hello nurse and all that. Like the
yeah,
word
yeah, yeah.
British came.
They really pushed the boundaries for what was allowed on TV and stuff. I mean, like they called out broadcasting standards. Like the censorship oversight board. They called them out a bunch of times and stuff. And it's like, let's see if they catch that. Nope.
Yeah, and wasn't it Animaniacs that had that one episode where they called out like one specific obsessive fan? I think that's like a famous one because it was like one guy who would post on forums and BBSs about like one character in Tiny Toons that I either he loved that character or he hated it. I can't remember which.
Yeah,
He got
no,
like
I
a
remember the
specific
character you're talking
forum
about. Yeah,
posted. That was so weird because I remember that episode airing and I didn't understand anything because I didn't have I mean I was 8, so we had just gotten broadband at the time and I just like entered the internet, so it was so incomprehensible to me what that episode was about. I didn't know people could like contact a studio or contact a newspaper. That was so foreign to me, so it was like completely weird episode. I thought he was like a monster or something.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm I'm kind of just distracted right now because I just noticed the OBS chat overlays frozen and turning it off and on again is not doing anything. So I'm kind of at a loss. Eh. Oh well. Fuck it.
Seems fine. Oh, the chat. Oh, we can see the chat still. So
Well, the chat currently on screen right now is from the last stream.
that's fine.
Like, if I really wanted to, could just hide it and turn on the. I'd have to bump out.
Window capture
No,
the YouTube chat.
yeah, pretty much what I'd have to do is pop out chat, copy, and let's see. Oh, copy, close, go to chat box YouTube because I have like the default stuff. Chat windows save, so just do that and turn that on. And holy shit, that's tiny. Yeah, whatever. I'll have to do. Trying to think what else was on my mind before.
I was thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Animaniacs like by the same team that did Ren and Stimpy? Or am I confusing this?
No, Ren and Stimpy was by a different company and stuff. I'm
Oh.
like, as far as like the individual animators, other than like the head animator and stuff, like
Mhm.
I'm sure like people would bounce between studios for work and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like a not 0% chance that someone could have worked on Animaniacs and then Ren and Stimpy.
Okay. Yeah, I was like one of those people I can't remember. I only know Don Bluth really in like Western animation. I'm so bad at Western animation otherwise, but it's just something I remembered.
Yeah, and truth be told, I never really got super into Ren and Stimpy. I was kind of more like I got like the echo effect of all the copycats that came afterwards. Like Snookums and Meat was one I remember watching. There was a bunch.
And I never watched Ren and Stimpy until much later because it didn't air anywhere that I could watch at least. I don't know where they aired it. They didn't air it on like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or stuff. So
Yeah, like honestly, like the big one that came out after Ren and Stimpy was, of course, SpongeBob, and that was the be all end all.
never. Never
Two.
watched that.
I
I
never
don't.
got into it either.
I had one of my best friends in like middle school and stuff. He was obsessed with SpongeBob. It was insane. He would like he was a quote machine from SpongeBob. I could not stand it. I think I refused to watch it just to like annoy him. So,
I don't
never liked that.
I don't know. I did watch the clips, and like anytime like a meme would come around, and stuff. It's like okay, I get it and stuff. Like for example, like the voice actor for SpongeBob, Tom Kenny, he does a fuck ton of work. So like I did follow him for a bit because it's fucking Tom Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, like voice actors in Western stuff. There's like 5 people who get all the work. Like who's that really famous? Tara Strong is the really famous female voice actress, right? Who's like in everything, like every game, every animation
Yep.
since 2005 or something. And Steve Bloom, of course. Steve Bloom is in everything.
Actually, ever since like the Weeb Wars Kick Vic stuff, the whole English voice actor community is like the whole like industry, English voice acting industry has kind of been soured on me, except for like the really big ones, like the old guard.
Well, I don't, I never watched anything foreign dubbed ever. So to me, it's like doesn't matter. I don't.
So
It's
what
just
you
like
so what like all the non-European cartoons you saw were like in English?
no. I mean, unless it's like for 8 and below, nothing is dubbed here. It's
Ah,
all it's all subtitled.
really?
Like I remember going to Shrek 1, and it was like it was so big. So first they would do like earlier in the day, like until say 8 o'clock in the evening. They would run like Shrek 3 times. That would be the dub to Swedish version, and then after 8 it would be the non-dubbed subbed version instead.
Huh.
And I mean, like cartoons on TV were usually dubbed, but the less popular ones wouldn't be. So like Sailor Moon was dubbed, and like Pokemon was dubbed. Sonic X was dubbed, but like a lot of the older cartoons, I think some of them weren't dubbed because they lost the rights to the dub. But like a lot of the like old Donald Duck and old Looney Tunes would simply be in English with subtitles.
Okay. No, I can see
So
that because I know a bunch of like for example like a bunch of animes and stuff would like have like early like English dubs and stuff, but they would like the new rights holders wouldn't get like the licensing for the old dubs, so they'd have to like redub it kind of thing and stuff. It gets really stupid sometimes.
yeah, and I mean, it's just because Sweden is such a small language zone that you simply can't dub in everything. There's like not enough money for voice actors to do it. I mean, it's like mm, max maybe like 10 million people who can speak Swedish. It's like not worth it. You just put on subtitles instead because that costs nothing to do.
Well, yeah, like we saw that we've seen this in like the VTuber market and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's nice if you have like these corner cases like fucking like Hollow ES and stuff,
Mm.
but honestly, you have to deal with the two big markets, either English or Japanese. That's what it comes down to, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean it's also like Spanish speakers. Most of them are in South America and they can't speak English good. I mean that's why Spanish is like a big language, and it is the biggest language in the world as well, as I think it's like number one most speakers still,
I,
with English as a second.
I can see it because like ignoring Indian and China because of the raw numbers and stuff. I mean, for like widespread languages, of course, you know, like
Yeah, I think it's like pure numbers as well.
really, huh?
Yeah, because I mean, India's biggest language is Hindustani, and that's only quotation marks. I think like 300, 250 million speakers of that. And like Mandarin is also somewhere around there, like 300, because you know they count like primary language. If you learn it as a secondary language, you're not counted as native in it.
Okay, yeah, no, I get it now. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, oh, what do they say? 300, 400 something million English speakers in the world, and that's the Anglo sphere. You know, that's not counting people like me who has it as a secondary language.
Huh.
So
Yeah, I'm still just puttering around with getting chat to work. I just deleted that source and I'm just re-adding it again. And that's per. Oh god. Oh, chat works. I just got to resize it now. The joys.
at least it's easy to read. German dub makes it funnier. I know one case where the German dubs makes it funnier, and that's fucking Naruto.
Okay, sell me on
Have
this.
you ever?
Sell me on the German dubs because my only real experience with German language is just like ha ha ha,
Yeah.
aggressive guttural language, ha ha ha, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, one thing is that Germany actually dubs everything, so they have like an actual. I mean that's like the problem with like English voice acting is that it is by its nature amateur because so much media is made in English. Like dubbing things into English is almost unneeded. It's like a small market, but like in Germany, um, they dub like all shows. They dub like American shows into German, so it's like an actual big business, just like Japan. Well, same with Italy and France and Spanish, both Latin American Spanish and European Spanish, where everything is dubbed. I think France is like the most extreme with that. I think like, oh, it has to be dubbed. You cannot broadcast things in English. I think from like cultural reasons because they're like really obsessed with like language purity and stuff. But like yeah, German dubs are actually often better than say like an anime dub. It's I mean they of course they're still bad dubs, but they're generally a lot better than the English ones. And we have like a couple of anime cons in Scandinavia, and most of the resellers or like shops for like anime merch and DVDs and such are German companies.
Really?
Yeah, and they often get like the rights to one of the existing English dubs, or there's usually like English subtitles on. So there, like if you buy one, you can usually like check the German dub if you want to.
Well, it kind of makes sense because as far as Europe goes, Germany is a large well, one of the largest market, if we're being honest, for like
Yeah.
everything across the board.
Also,
Insert.
they're rich.
Well,
That's
yeah.
important.
Well, yeah. Like insert economy and geopolitics here. Germany is Europe. It's sad to say.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of them. You know, there's like Germany is like 80 million, 70 million of that is Germans or something, and then there's Austria is like 15 million, I think, and I think Switzerland is like 70% German speakers. So that's like another 8 million or something, and it's one of the most popular secondary languages as well. And there's Germans if you look for them in Europe. But where was I going with this? I said Naruto as a joke because the German opening is really, really, really infamous as being like hilariously bad. They made one opening into the Naruto rap, and it's the funniest thing. It's so fucking funny. It's 2005 distilled to like 100% concentration. It's like German voice actors rapping in English with like the broadest accents
Oh
ever about
God.
Naruto. And complete, like, obviously, the guy who wrote the lyrics, not the best at English. I really, really, really recommend you check that out because it's so funny. It's like
I might have to give that a watch.
Sasuke.
Uh,
You gotta hear because it's like Sasuke. He's so cool. Sakura, so beautiful. Naruto.
oh God. Oh, Sigma brought up something important. I'm with him on this here. So, I would say so far as to say that France led the way for anime getting into Europe and stuff because France actually makes its own anime, like Wakfu and Dofus. I know at least those ones. I watch those, and I know there's a bunch of other ones because anytime I know they have like a bunch of French quote unquote manga and like anime and stuff, so
Yeah,
it's a really big market there.
yeah. I mean, that's usually called franime. I've heard it called.
I am not surprised it has a nickname. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and they're like, if you check like Japanese studios and such. I mean, if you say European name, it's either an English name or a French name, and it is like I think they've had like anime stuff since like the 70s, so they're like 10 years before most other countries, and I think also like a lot of French artists and such inspired Japanese artists as well, so it was like a cultural exchange that way. Do you know like the sci-fi designer Möbius?
That rings a bell.
Yeah, because he worked on what did he work on? I think he worked on Alien, for example. I think he did designs for Alien,
Okay.
and he did. There's so much like sci-fi stuff he did designs for, and Dune. I think he did. I think he did for Jodorowsky's Dune, the one that didn't get produced. I think
Okay.
some of that lives on in David Lynch's Dune, and he was super popular in Japan. So he actually has been over to Japan and produced anime and done designs for anime. He did like designs for a failed American adaptation. No, that was Sid Mead. Now I think about it. No, but Mobius did like designs for mecha OVAs and stuff.
Well,
Um,
you have to remember there's a lot of cross pollination between Eastern and Western animation and stuff. The early anime and stuff was influenced by the golden age of American animation. So like old Disney and like old Fleischman and cartoons and shit.
yeah. I mean, also not to forget all those like those war propaganda cartoons that the Japanese did.
There,
Those were really influential afterwards. You can really see that with the whole like, I mean, they were obviously like Disney influence, but you can really see like the 60s anime, how much it took from those.
yeah. Yeah, it did. Like I remember going back and rewatching like the old black and white Astro Boys and stuff because I grew up on the '80s Astro Boy, but I did in college went back and watched the black and white Astro Boys. I'm just like, this is just old Disney.
Yeah, I mean that's everything that Tezuka did was very obviously Disney because that was Osamu Tezuka who did Astro Boy,
Yes.
and yeah, I mean all that and like that old story about who is the true owner of the Lion King? Is it Tezuka or is it Disney? Because you know that the whole thing with like Kimba the White Lion.
Trick question. The answer is Shakespeare.
Yeah, yeah, because it's Hamlet.
Yep. Well, okay, Kimba the White Lion is its own thing, so it's not like it's not the Hamlet, but the Disney one, yes, that is Hamlet with animals.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, it's like yes, a ton of cross pollination and also like funny stuff when something is like a secret anime and people don't know it, just because they watched this as kids. Like what was it called? I don't know what it's called in English. Ginga, I think it's called in Japan with Ginga the silver dog. I don't know it. I gotta check it out.
I don't know why I'm thinking of Sealbert now.
Ginga Densetsu. It has the funny title Ginga Densetsu Weed. But what was it called in? Desperately trying to find out what it was called in English.
I'm trying to Google. Oh, Legend of the Galactic Hero.
No, it's really similar. Ginga Nagareboshi Gin. Silverfang it was called in English.
Silverfang. That does not ring a bell for me.
It's about like a dog who sees his father die and he has to go on a big quest for revenge against the bear who killed him.
Okay. Well, I
That
remember,
was like
I remember
yeah,
White.
that was,
No, like I
yeah, go
remember
on.
White Fang. White Fang had a shit ton of adaptations as far as cartoons go.
Maybe did you call it like white?
Maybe it's the same thing.
I guess this is the one.
Okay. I do recognize it, but I don't
Yeah,
think I ever watched it.
because that one was huge in Scandinavia, and it's like cursed enough. That's like the progenitor to like our furries is Silverfang.
Yeah, I'm not. There's so many. I'm looking for like the cartoon adaptation for White Fang because there's a shit ton of adaptations. So I'm kind of narrowing it down. Let's see, White Fang cartoon 90s.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know. I don't know.
Silverfang.
I don't know about. I don't know about America, but I know Canada. I know Canada. This. I'm going to paste it in the Discord. This was. Oops. Control A. Paste. This was really big in Canada. I remember as a kid.
Yeah, I read the Jack London novel. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, because I know there's at least two or three cartoons and a few action adaptations. I don't think I ever did read the books.
I think I did in school actually. I think I read Jack London.
Okay, yeah, no wonder I saw it. It was animated by Sinar, which is Sinar, which is a Quebec animation company.
Ah,
That explains it.
that explains it.
Yeah,
It looked like
it looked like it was a co-production between Canada and France. There was a bunch of those. I remember, like a bunch of co-production. I remember the Care Bears was a French Canadian co-production, like the '80s, '90s Care Bears.
yeah. I actually, I watched that as well. That was one that I thought that might have been like secret anime, but it wasn't. That was a bit surprising actually, because it really looks like it.
You know what? Oh, speaking of stealth animes, you want to know my favorite stealth anime? The real Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The first few seasons were animated in Japan. The later seasons were kind of farmed out everywhere, but like the first few seasons were no offensive, but it's animated in Japan. And looking back at it as an adult, it's like you can see it. Like, yeah, this is anime.
Yeah. It's like I think I talked about it last stream, just because it's all because like Silver Fang and Moomin are like two things that people grew up watching here, and they had no idea that both those were anime.
Yeah, because I do remember, like, I never watched Moomin, but I did remember doing some research on it like years ago and stuff. I'm like, oh, this was a co-production between blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it was like hell for them to produce because uh, the writer, she was still alive when they adapted the Moomin, and she absolutely despised the adaptations they did at first because she thought it was too violent.
Really?
They had they had to compromise a lot because there's one where like Moomin dad pulls out a gun, and that was like no bueno for her. She was completely against it.
Huh. No, I
But
can I can see that.
I really loved it. It was like I watched that on VHS at my grandparents' house. That's like real nostalgic actually. Also produced by Tezuka's company, which is sort of funny.
Neat.
So weird seeing all these like Swedish names and then a Japanese actor voicing them.
Well, I'm just kind of thinking like the major animation hubs, like 80s and 90s that we grew up with and stuff, were like Korea, Japan,
Mhm.
America,
Soviet Union.
you know, fuck ton from Soviet Union. those are interesting cartoons to watch.
Yeah, and actually a lot of the Eastern Bloc, Czechoslovakia. There's a really famous cartoon from Czechoslovakia that was licensed. Or is it Hungary? It's either Czechoslovakia or Hungary. It was licensed by Swedish state television, so everyone saw that one.
Okay.
Um, it's called. It's like a little man. What is it called now again? Uh, it's, I remember that was like sort of controversial as well because it was like, are we showing our children communist propaganda? I mean, yeah, they were, but think the state television was aware of it.
Well, I don't know
I,
because I remember like you guys it was a little more immediate as far as local because like you know they were right there,
mm,
and me it was kind of just like we kind of got the we didn't exactly get the straight communist media and stuff, but we did get the like you know the sanitized depictions in our media, usually as a joke.
yeah, yeah. I mean, our government were like pretty tight with the Eastern Bloc as well sometimes, so that helps. And I was a little wrong. It was from Yugoslavia, actually, Professor Baltasar.
Okay.
So that was I grew up with that, but I'm probably like last generation to grow up with it. But it was everyone had seen Professor Baltasar. Everyone could sing the theme song and everything. So it's like one of those that exists in a couple of places. You know, but I bet all the Yugoslavians know this one too. But it was super big, and I don't think that was ever aired in like English speaking countries. So it's one of those like disconnects where something was huge here, but no one has heard about it in the English world.
Okay, I remember we started talking about this towards the end of the last stream and stuff. Belgian stuff, you know, like Tintin and crap like that. That was pretty. That had a pretty wide base as far as the different markets.
Yeah, Tintin was always huge. The comics in Sweden, like enormously huge. I think we got the first Tintin is Tintin in the Soviet Union, and I think that was published in newspapers in like that must be early 1920s, like 22 or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we got it as a comic maybe like a year after it was published in newspapers. Like Tintin was huge from the start here.
Okay.
So and like I think that helped the rest of the like Franco-Belgian comics because like Asterix, Obelix, Gaston, Lucky Luke. I mean, all of those were available everywhere. They were released at the same time. Like super huge. I'm like from a really small town,
Yeah.
and our like tiny school library had every volume of Lucky Luke, every volume of Tintin, every volume of Asterix and Obelix.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm just remembering my elementary school library. I don't remember seeing a lot of Lucky Luke, but we had a shit ton of Tintin, Asterix, Obelix, and Smurfs.
Yeah, I almost forgot the Smurfs. But yeah, that too. That's also French, I think, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a problem that it was so prevalent that I actually have to think that like, oh yeah, Tintin is Belgian. It isn't Swedish because it's so natural to me that I read it when I was young.
Well,
It feels Swedish.
I got thrown through a loop that it because like I read like Tintin, Smurfs, and Asterix, Obelix in French because I was raised French and stuff. So I always assume all those properties were like France French.
Yeah. You forget that there's more countries that can speak French actually.
Well, yeah, that it's like, oh, Tintin's Belgian. Ah. And French is one of their national languages. Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I always loved Tintin because it was so funny because it was like it was so irreverent. It's like I loved the Tintin in America because when it was written, the author hadn't been to America ever, so it was like the most like 30s stereotype of America possible. Like there were gangsters in T-Fords everywhere shooting Tommy guns, and they were like chased by Indians.
The overarching villain was a Jew. That's the funniest thing.
Yeah,
Oh
so
god.
that was so funny to me because that was like he had as much experience of America that as I did, so it was so captivating to read.
Yeah, Sigma saying, "Look what they did to my boy Tintin in Congo." Yeah, that there got the revision treatment in a hurry. Even back then, that one got a revision as soon as possible.
Ours was uncensored. The print we had was from late 80s, like 89. That was still uncensored then.
Okay.
We had everything like when the king, the like African king brings out his soldiers and they're all marching in like pretend European fashions, but all have spears and Tintin gets carried in a big like on a throne and stuff, and they like mock them. Everything was intact.
Yeah. Like,
And we also had we still had that one where it's like Captain Rackham's treasure, I think, where like an SS officer is the co-hero to Tintin.
yep, I
And
remember
he
that one.
was like he had the swastika and everything. There was no censorship on that one.
Man, back in the day was crazy times.
Yeah.
Can't
But
get away with that shit these days. Nope.
no, I mean those. I mean like Tintin in Congo and like Captain Rackham's treasure. I mean Captain Rackham's treasure was made during German occupation, and
Oh god,
um,
yeah, it was.
yeah, and I mean the author, he was a Belgian fascist, so he was a collaborator. So he and even then, like Tintin in the Soviet Union is way more radical. That one, I'm surprised that one got away uncensored. Like even when it was printed, that one was kind of controversial because of made some implications about who is behind world communism. That was sort of spicy to say even back then, actually. So
Yeah, you're right. Oh my god, yeah. Oh god. Oh.
I mean that was very. That it was in like a school library. I don't know how. I mean, because now schools are pretty strictly controlled by the powers that be. I'm still surprised that one like slipped through. It was really fun to read when you were 8 as well. Learned a lot about the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm just going through my mental Rolodex of like weird cartoons. Like I could. Did you ever watch the cartoon? It's a cartoon about dogs. Did you ever watch the cartoon called Roofer?
How is it spelled?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Roofer
Because it's not like roofer, like someone who makes rooftops, right?
cartoon. Well, it sounds like that, so that's. Foo FFFOO fur foo fur if you are. I'm gonna copy.
If you are roofer, as in fur, as in.
Yeah, I just pasted it into Discord.
The first result I got was welcome to Roofer, your furry critter creator of custom fur suits and accessories for everyone.
I'm not surprised that this cartoon generated some furs, but I'm just having a startling revelation right now that this was a Hanna-Barbera production. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched this.
Okay. Yeah, and just looking this up, it just remember it was like a Hanna-Barbera production company. Like you got the Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby Doo, blah blah blah, and like all these other old cartoons we grew up with too.
I'm surprised this is from the late 80s.
Oh my god, it is. I thought this was the 70s.
Yeah, because there was that other Hanna-Barbera show about dogs. But like they're like street dogs, but one of them is like a flyer and has an airplane or something. It's,
Are you
I don't
thinking? Are
remember
you
what.
thinking of Disney's Rescue Rangers?
No, no, this wasn't Hanna-Barbera one.
It wasn't Top Cat.
No, because that's like the like red cat with the hat, right?
I think it was yellow, but yeah, you're thinking the right one though. Let's see
Yeah.
characters. Can I just have a list of properties?
Well, I love Wikipedia.
Yeah,
So
that's what
great when you have.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I just wanted a list of Hanna Barbera productions.
The filmography. The filmography is separate. And ready. Wow, I watched a lot of this.
Okay, yeah, I see the big list right now. Let's see. I didn't watch Rough and Ready. I did watch Huckleberry. I did watch Huckleberry Hound and Quick Draw McGraw. Flintstones, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yogi
watched Big
Bear, Top
Brother.
Cat,
Big Brother Girl I watched.
Jetsons. I didn't watch Miguel the Gorilla. Johnny Quest, yeah. Peter Ponmus, yeah. Adamant, I remember that, yeah. Frankenstein Jr., what the fuck? Oh god.
You know what? Maybe I did think about Top Cat actually. Now that
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
Space Ghost, yeah. Actually, I'm more familiar with Space Ghost, the coast to coast.
Coast to Coast.
Yeah, same thing with like oh god, not Sequest. The submarine guys.
Sequest? Sequest 2025 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that one. No, well, I know Sequest was a live action 90s Star Trek knockoff, but like I know there was a cartoon, like an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which involved the sea something. But yeah, yeah, I think I had a name to it. Fuck. I'm just looking at the Hanna-Barbera list. It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I've seen so much of it. Like, goddamn Banana Splits Adventure Hour. I remember watching that.
Mhm. Tom and Jerry, yeah. Oh my. Okay, so okay, I thought they did the Animal Olympics ones, but I'm actually seeing the Scooby Doo's Laugh Olympics. Okay, I remember that.
Sea Lab 2020.
Okay,
Is
yeah,
that what you're thinking about?
yep, that's it. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Because I got the Space Ghost treatment, and they redubbed and
Yeah,
gaggified it.
they're like what's that called? Like they almost like official fan dub.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and Adam's Family. Watched all of that. It's incredible output.
Oh my
This is like
god.
extreme, dude. This is like 4 shows a year.
I'm just kind of
Holy
floored that the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, which was a Scooby Doo with Vincent Price, came out in '85.
yeah, oh, that late?
Yes, I thought. Yeah, that's what's throwing me up too. I was just like, wow. I thought that was from like '70s, but no, it was '85.
Isn't that like a very crusty Vincent Price at that point?
Well, yeah, Vincent Price at that point, he was going full Orson Welles, and that like, yeah, I'm getting sick and I'm getting old and dying, so I'm just gonna sit here and talk into the microphone for cartoons.
I mean, man, did he have like good thing for him he only did like horror stuff because that man he was like in a sarcophagus at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, this is extreme. There's so many shows. Like
Oh,
co-production with Godzilla.
uh,
Co-production with Toho for Godzilla. I had no
yeah,
idea.
the Godzilla Power. Yeah, the Godzilla Power Hour was a co-production between Toho and Hanna-Barbera. So pretty much, it was like Godzilla. It was honestly the proto form of Godzilla the animated series from the '90s, because you had your human crew going around in the boat, and Godzilla had a kid called Godzuki. Fuck, I hate that character, but they went around fighting monsters and stuff, and it was okay. It was an okay show. I mean, like shit. Godzilla was in Scooby Doo in the Ghoul School, like at the last scene for like the new monsters and parents. One of them was Godzilla and his daughter.
Wow. Yeah, and animated Lucky Luke with Galmont. Wow. I never really thought about how much Hanna-Barbera I've consumed.
Well, that's kind of the thing. They were just like always there, so you don't really think about it too much. But yeah, they had a very big run.
I mean, dude, they talk about like, oh yeah, Japanese animation studios are treating their employees poorly. They gotta have like a plantation to make this many shows. This is insane.
Oh my god! I just went on a Wikipedia tab thing, and do you remember Bob Clampett, specifically his cartoon Beanie and Cecil?
Never seen that one, I don't think.
I'll post the Bob Clampett wiki page, because he used to work on he used to work on Looney Tunes and stuff, but then he went off and did his own thing, like everyone else
Yeah,
did.
I do recognize it. I recognize Dishonest John. I think I've seen him in something.
Mm. Oh my god, most of his work is in the '40s, the '40s and '50s. Well, '40s to '50s. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this says it's from 62. Beanie and Cecil.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember, I don't think I ever watched it on TV, but I think I might have rented the VHS tapes for Beanie and Cecil a few times.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this, but I think I have seen the guy named Dishonest John, who's clearly the villain or something. I think I've seen him in something. Maybe he did like cameos in some other show or something that was produced by the same people.
Well, maybe Dishonest John was kind of a knockoff Dick Dastardly, of course, that character type.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the one I think about. I think.
No, but I do remember there being a character called Dishonest John somewhere, because the name does ring a bell.
Mm. You know, when like watch this whole list, I sort of understand why hand-drawn animation sort of collapsed in the 90s, because a lot of this looks, I mean, like, oh, we thought like one show was in the 80s, but we thought it was like 60s, and like something was in the 60s, you thought it was made in the 80s. They must have been like 60-year-olds doing animation at the end point here, and when they died, there probably just wasn't a replacement, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Because
like SWAT Cats is made in 1993. I remember watching that,
I love
and
SWAT
that
Cats.
could easily have been made.
SWAT Cats was my
Yeah, and
favorite thing on TBS.
yeah, I mean, and that could easily be. I mean, like aesthetically, it looks like something from the 80s. So everyone worked like the like supervisors must have been like 50, 40 something. So
Yeah.
like no wonder the industry died.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a great judging in chat. Even so, the Zilla movie was Zilla, but the 2000s Godzilla anime series is great. Yeah, like the cartoon that came out of the '98 Godzilla movie. The movie was shit, but the cartoon was good.
yeah. Because the movie is that's a lot of fish. That's
Yeah,
like
that
one of
one.
my.
Yeah, but the cartoon was made by the same guys who did the Men in Black cartoon.
Yeah, and that was good actually. That was actually really good.
That was good too. Yeah. Oh, and they also did the Extreme Ghostbusters.
Well, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, the style does match up.
I'm just looking over like SWAT Cats, and I don't think I've thought about SWAT Cats in probably like 14 years or something. But I remember just loving their jet fighter because I was super into jet fights at the time, and it's partially based on a Swedish jet fighter. So I just loved their jet planes so much.
Yeah, because I remember Ted Turner for his TBS station stuff. He really wanted to make cartoons a thing because he bought out a shit ton of rights for like old cartoons
Yeah,
and stuff, and that's why we saw Looney Tunes and all that shit on TBS and whatnot. But the original stuff from the '90s, he did stuff, mostly the newer Hanna-Barbera stuff. But like the more original stuff was either SWAT Cats or Captain Planet.
yeah, yeah. Captain Planet, he's a hero. That was never on TV here, but I know it afterwards just because of it's like it's extreme memeability.
Yeah, I was never super big on the environmental stuff. Like, I know Captain Planet gets all the press, but do you ever remember watching Widget, the World Watcher? Oh,
No,
uh,
I'm gonna check it out.
okay, I'm just Wikipediaing it. Widget, the
Yeah, Widget TV series. It's gotta be that one.
yep, it's that one. Yes,
No, I never seen this one.
it was Captain Planet level bad for environmental messaging and stuff. Honestly, the only environmental conscious cartoon I probably actually legitimately liked was Denver the Dinosaur.
Uh, what's that one called? With Tim Curry as the villain, where
Uh,
he's like a goop monster.
that wasn't a show, that was a movie, and that was Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's like the other one I can think of. That's like an environmental.
Fern Gully was actually good. Oh, you know what another one
Yeah,
was? Fuck. Something Forest. Something Forest. It had the little animal kids who had to find a cure for their sick friend who got like chlorine poisoned. Ah, fuck, what is it? Once Upon a Forest?
yeah. No bells are ringing.
Yep, Once Upon a Forest. That it was another environmental one. I'm posting in Discord too, but it was actually pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, Captain Planet sort of stands out as being like really
Well,
super ham-fisted and like boring and
yeah,
cheap.
no, that's the thing. Captain Planet was ham-fisted, and all the other ones were less to a lesser degree. Thus, I tolerated more.
Yeah, I mean, like Captain Planet has that like design by committee feel. where it's like, oh, we have to have this in it, we have to have this, we have to have this. So it's like there's no art left in it. It's like only message.
Uh, Oh, I'm just looking at chat right now. So you guys are mentioning Street Sharks and Biker Mice from Mars, but you have to remember Street Sharks and Biker Mice from Mars were knockoffs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Yeah, and I never watched those ripoffs. I only watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I watched everything, but of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon, the 80s 90s cartoon was a fucking phenomenon.
Yeah. It was super big here as well. And I don't actually, they never broadcast Biker Mice from Mars or Street Sharks here, I don't think. But Turtles had like monopoly on that, like mutated animal.
Oh, I have to ask, did Sweden, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Sweden get the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles treatment that the UK got?
No, it was actually called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay,
Unchanged.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's like you can't translate that. It would sound so stupid.
Well,
But we did have the same like ninja scare as the UK did.
but to a lesser
Because
extent, I guess.
no,
No,
to exactly the same extent, but
but for some
yeah,
reason, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles somehow flew under the radar.
yeah, I think it was like it's something really stupid. Because I think it might be because it didn't feature Ninja Stars specifically.
Yeah,
That was like the big ninja hysteria was Ninja Stars.
yeah,
So I
because
think because they don't have that, I think they got away.
well, I remember Michelangelo's nunchucks were an issue for many markets and stuff, and even in the English version stuff, he eventually got like a grappling hook instead of his nunchucks towards the end of the run.
Okay, because that was never a problem here. I don't think it was specifically Ninja Stars that was like the big scare for some reason. And I remember having shop class. We were specifically banned from making Ninja Stars still, despite that being 15 years past the Ninja Star hysteria. It was like specifically Ninja Stars, like 100% that. I think you could still make knives if you wanted to, but not Ninja Stars.
Well, as far as growing up, it was either the Ninja Scare or the Satan Scare, so you had to pick your flavor.
Yeah, yeah. I started thinking about like environmental movies and like animated shows and movies. And there's actually one really good one, a Japanese one. I don't know if you ever watched this. I'm gonna post it in general. Uh, Inochi no Shikyu, Dioxin no Natsu, which is about a like chemical plant melting down in Italy. And I
I've
actually really
never
like it.
heard of this, but I fucking want to watch it.
Yeah, it's like it's like a pretty surprising thing for like a Japanese studio to adapt because it's from 2001 and like the disaster itself was in the late 70s in Italy. But I guess it like penetrated culturally for some reason.
Well, you have to remember the Japanese focus on the weirdest of shit. Like, for example, Anna Green Gables is a fucking cult in
Yeah.
Japan.
And Heidi.
Yeah, that too. Oh my god. I don't know what it is with Japanese and pastoral romanticization, especially from the European angle and stuff. It's so fucking weird and consistent.
I mean, it makes sense. Like it's sort of like universal experience growing up in like rural countryside because like I mean I talked about like Silver Fang before and that takes place in Hokkaido. So I think that might have helped a lot with it become popular in Scandinavia because Hokkaido basically looks like Scandinavia.
Speaking of anime, I found a one I remember growing up with. Did you ever watch the Wonderful Wizard of Oz?
I watched like maybe a couple of episodes.
I fucking love this series, and it is a straight up anime and stuff. But they got mass Western distribution because Oz.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, from the one from the 80s, right?
Yeah. This is the '80s anime / cartoon.
Yeah, I think I watched a little couple of episodes on like a DVD on like VHS sometimes. I'm pretty sure I recognize the character designs.
I remember watching on TV and stuff, but it's one of those. I remember when the Blu-ray for this came out and stuff, and I was just like, "Fuck yeah, I'm buying this day one," because this was my jam as a kid.
Yes, dude. Wow, it's like a studio that's only credited as releasing this as well.
You know what another good old anime was? Sherlock Hound.
Yeah, I watched a bit of Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, that was a good one.
I was kind of surprised later on when I did research on it. Like, I remember watching it as a kid, but I remember doing research on it. It's like, oh, this is Studio Ghibli before it was Studio Ghibli. Huh, neat.
Oh yeah,
It was.
yeah. It shares a lot of staff. Yeah.
Well, it was Miyazaki was the head of it and stuff, so it looks like a Ghibli thing. But yeah, it was mostly him and his crew before they actually formed the studio.
Yeah, and actually, like another one that's sort of interesting is like one of the first. Yes, speaking of Ghibli and Miyazaki and such, like one of the first anime that was released in Sweden and was like marketed as anime I know of is actually Lupin the Third.
Oh God, yeah,
If
they did
you,
do one of the
if you
movies.
watch, yeah, we were like when satellite TV launched, one of the early channels was actually a channel that sent a lot that broadcast a lot of like Japanese anime subtitled via satellite.
Neat.
Yeah, and it was actually like a really good channel as well. Like they had good picks for because they actually tried to sell like anime as like they were sort of early with the like early 90s, late 80s, like oh, this is animation. It's not for kids.
Well, yeah,
It's
I do
mm.
remember the adverts was like, "This isn't your dad's cartoons, kids."
Yeah, it's like one really famous manga entertainment, I think it was, because they would license like every violent OVA possible. So it's like
Yeah, I do remember that.
it's like a compilation of like Mad Bull 34 and like Genocyber and like Urtsuku Doji, all the Angel Cop. I think they have
Well,
like the headshot from Angel Cop in there.
well, after we got rid of our cable and stuff, I remember we had a pirated American satellite thing, so we got the sci-fi and the action channel and stuff, and they played a bunch of dub like hyper violent anime and shit like that. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I see in the chat there's like Sigma G is mentioning Fist of the North Star got some people uppity. There's like an infamously garbage dub of Fist of the North Star here in Sweden that I have on DVD because it's like probably one of the worst dubs ever and one of the worst transfers to home video ever. And everyone sounds like they like rounded up a bunch of like alcoholics from the streets and put them in the recording studio. It is amazing.
so
That's like,
does it come full circle being so bad that it's good?
yeah.
Okay,
It's hilarious.
okay, all
But
right.
of course you have to know Swedish to understand it. But it's like the worst, probably like the worst dub job ever. And it also has a funny name because it's Ken the Great Bear Fist. And they like they couldn't license properly, so they licensed like recap episodes. So it's like 9 episodes lodged together into 3 with the worst voice acting in the world, and it looks like shit as well. Especially because I have a DVD version, so it was like a straight transfer from an old VHS, and it's so bad. But that was like one of the first anime I ever watched was subtitled Fist of the North Star from my uncle's VHS collection. I'm not entirely sure where he got them from, if he recorded VHSs from satellite TV or if he bought fan subs, but that was, Fist of the North Star was actually kind of popular for a while in Sweden.
I vividly remember my first subtitle anime, and that was Neon Genesis Evangelion, and we watched it on real player and stuff. And here's the thing: we watched the entire series in one sitting. We were so fried towards the end of it. The actual ending made sense to us at the time because we were that sleep deprived and fried.
Because that's gotta have ended at like fight against Sulfur, right?
No, no. The original ending for Neon Genesis Evangelion was
Oh yeah.
was him sitting down in that chair and getting the clap, getting the applause. That
Oh
ending.
yeah. It ends on like Death and Rebirth. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
those episodes.
we did eventually watch the movies and stuff, but we watched the broadcast version of the anime first,
Oh, okay.
the OG.
Yeah, and yeah, I think I watched it. I watched Evangelion in like high school, so and I mean I love Evangelion, so but
I have opinions. I'm not the biggest Evangelion fan. I actually one of the knockoffs for Evangelion I actually like better. Have you heard of Blue Seed?
yeah, I know Blue Seed.
Blue Seed was good. I liked it better than Evangelion.
I wouldn't go that far,
Well,
but
to each their own.
yeah, I hate the new quadrilogy of Evangelion, for example. I hate.
I gave up after the third one. I'm just like, no, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm like the only one who hated the fourth movie. Like I actually despise the last Evangelion movie. I thought it was shit. Actually, I really yeah, it's like ruined everything. I was like okay with 1 and 2, and then it started to become really bad at 3, and then 4 just killed it for me. There's like one point. Have you watched the fourth one?
No, I haven't, and I'm probably not going to. So have at it. I don't care.
Because there's like it's one thing that the story isn't good, you know, but at some point the CG starts getting so incredibly shit that I was like I thought I was watching like a work print or something, because it's one scene where Shinji like fights I think he fights like a cloned Eva 01 or something, and it looks like it's animated in like Sims 2. It's so bad. I thought it was like a joke or something at first, but then the scene just keeps going on, and I'm supposed to be excited about this. Like,
Well,
I think I used the comparison before, but it looks like Miku Miku Dance or something. It's
well,
so
no. Okay,
fucking.
okay. Here's my opinion on the rebuild movies. You have to remember that Anno, for want of a better word, fucking despises Evangelion. So it pretty much he only did he only did the rebuild movies to make a buck and to also take the piss out of the fans. So of course,
I think uh, uh, I think Anno is like coping a bit about it. I think it's like, I mean, he's like an author and everything,
and he's
But
also
it's
fucking insane.
yeah, and his mentor is Hayao Miyazaki. So that doesn't really help with becoming a grumpy old man, never happy about anything he's ever done.
Well, it's kind of funny because in between the rebuild movies, he directed Shin Godzilla, and apparently that was like give him like a boost of energy to finish off the movies.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I guess I watched when they released the fourth movie. They also NHK, I think, released a hour documentary about the production of the fourth Evangelion movie, and it really did come across as like it had stalled completely until Shin Godzilla was done, and Anna like felt like working again, because like there's a while where Shin Godzilla is in production at the same time, and they just do nothing but meetings where Anno dismisses every idea everyone else has, and they can't do any work because nothing gets approved.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So yeah, but I didn't like it. Like I
Yeah.
love Evangelion, but I don't like the rebuilds at all.
And Sigma brings up the perennial anime favorite, Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I read Dragon Ball. I didn't watch it.
Okay, here's my thing. I've never been super into shonen anime. Like, it was, I kind of tolerated it when I was a kid, but the instant I turned to a teenager, I was just like, I can't stand this anymore.
I mean, I'd say I am still into shonen, but I was never into the long-running shonens.
Oh,
Like
God.
you know,
Yeah.
like when we had like the big three, you know, when it was like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, and all of them had like 100 volumes or something. I was never into that. I like the ones that are
Yeah.
like 12 volumes maybe.
Yeah. Like, I've learned very early on when I got into like subtitle anime that the longer the show ran, the less chance I was going to like it. I liked more the limited ones, like either like a half season or like even just an OVA series tended to be a lot more tight and, just generally more enjoyable.
Yeah, because you know, when they release weekly like that, like Bleach did and One Piece and Naruto did, they also, you know, added filler episodes, and I like, "Ah, don't do that. We don't need even more episodes of it. Like 150 episodes a season is like way too much for me."
Oh god, yeah. Like,
I mean, like in recent memory, the longest show I watched that was like, I mean, that was a while ago as well, but I watched like Votoms for the first time. That's probably like the longest series I watched in years. Like, Votoms is like 50 episodes, I think.
yeah, like, well, here's the thing with like roughly 50 episode series and stuff. That was the minimum number that you needed for for American syndication. Was that was like the cutoff you needed for an animated series to get like syndicated?
Probably similar rules in Japan as well, because
Probably.
all the mecha shows used to be 52 episodes.
Oh God, I never really thought about it, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like every Gundam season was like 52 episodes, and like yeah, it's because that's like the core system, like one core 12 episodes, two core 24, so like four core is 52 episodes.
Yeah, 52 to
Yeah,
make it 2 a
52
year.
to make it into a year. Yeah, one per week.
Yep, that makes sense. Hi, Uber.
Wow.
Uh, I'm just cycling back to the environmental cartoons. Did you ever watch a cartoon called Sealbert?
Steelbert? No, I don't think so.
Okay, let me just pull it up.
Oh, it's
Oh,
French.
it's French. I,
Sebert. DB fuck.
well, okay, it's one of those things. Like I haven't looked up a bunch of this shit in ages and stuff. But then just doing the Wikipedia search, it's like, oh, it's a French production. No wonder I saw it.
French and Belgian.
Not surprised.
No, I've never seen this, unfortunately.
I remember liking it. I probably would have different opinions now, but I remember liking it at the time, even when I knew it was a hammer to head environmental cartoon. DIC Dick.
Yeah. They also involved a ton of stuff.
I know. That's why I'm scrolling down to see what the filmography for Dick programs. Because the only one I remember off the top of my head was Care Bears. But I know there's Mysterious Cities of Gold. Oh my god, I remember that.
No, never saw that one, I don't think.
It was a co-production with NHK, so it was an anime.
Oh, okay.
Inspector Gadget, yep, I remember that. Rainbow Bright, yep. Heathcliff, I remember Heathcliff in the Cadillac Cats. That was a good cartoon.
Never seen Heathcliff. I just know that it's really famous in North America.
It was good. I liked Heathcliff. Heathcliff was a Garfield knockoff, but I liked it better than Garfield. Let's see, Care Bears, yep. Jason the Wheel Warriors, oh my fucking god. Jason the Wheel Warriors was my jam. I've been saying that a lot, but Jason the Wheel Warriors was a really good show.
Wheel Warriors.
I'll paste it. Paste. Jason the Wheel Warriors was a cartoon, one of those cartoons that was made to sell a line of toys that no one bought. But the cartoon was fucking amazing.
I mean, that's like a sick title in French though.
Yeah.
Like Jace and the Conquerors of the Moon. That's a lot cooler.
Well, if you break it right down, it was knockoff Star Wars. Like you had the Han Solo character, you had the Luke Skywalker character, you had the Darth Vader character, yada yada. You saw the influences easily, but it was still a good show.
Animated by Sunrise and Shaft. Wow.
Popples, I remember Popples. Oh my god. Dennis the Menace, yep, real Ghostbusters. Dick did real Ghostbusters. Oh, okay, and they did Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin. I wanted to go off on a tangent the last stream about the Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin. I fucking love that cartoon.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's good. It's good. It's the best. The Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin is the best Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that was never made. And then, but I did like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. But Teddy Ruxpin kind of nailed the feel a lot better than the proper D&D cartoon.
Yeah, I just watched a little of the proper D&D cartoon. It was like really mediocre. Like it wouldn't be remembered if it wasn't D&D, I don't think.
Oh god, Dick also did the Chipmunks.
The chip.
Alvin and Chipmunks.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, they also did Camp Candy. Camp Candy was the cartoon headlined by John Candy.
John Candy.
He was a big fat comedian back in the day. He did a lot of movies and he was on Saturday Night Live. He came just before oh fuck, what was the fat comedian? John Candy came just before fuck.
I don't know the guy, so I don't think it was big here. Or at least I didn't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, Deke also did the Super Mario Brothers cartoon.
Oh yeah, I love that one actually.
Yeah.
I actually really like that one.
Oh my god, I forgot this. So, do you remember the hip hop rapper MC Hammer?
Yep.
He had a cartoon.
I don't think I watched that one.
I didn't either, but I know it exists. It's called Hammerman, and his superpower was crab walking everywhere and fighting villains. I'm not kidding.
Didn't Shaquille O'Neal have a cartoon where he was like?
I don't know about cartoon, but I did remember he did the superhero movie Real Steel.
Yeah, and he did the game, Shack Attack or whatever it was called.
Shaq, yeah, Sigma said Shaq Fu. I do remember Shaq Fu.
Yeah, Shaq Fu. Like a Mortal Kombat ripoff.
Oh my god, Bill and Ted had a cartoon too. Jesus Christ, Deke was fucking prolific in the 90s. Jesus fuck.
There's a lot of less ones that I recognize actually.
I do too.
I do recognize a few of them.
Speaking of Street Sharks, they did Street Sharks. The Where's Carmen San Diego cartoon. Yep, I remember that.
you can really see the like Japanese connection when you look at the DIC, because there's a lot of co-productions with Japan here. Like they did Hello Kitty
Yep.
co-production with Sanrio.
Oh my God! Yeah, especially the late '90s, early 2000s cartoons list in the Deke filmography are really jumping at me because I would like in my maybe like late kids, mid teens. I was really big on the Fox Kids cartoon block.
Yeah, that was Fox Kids was really great here because they would send entire runs of Pokemon, for example. Like if you didn't have satellite, you couldn't get Fox Kids, so you can only watch one Pokemon episode a week, while they would do like entire seasons on Fox Kids. And Fox Kids also had the Sonic cartoon, like Sonic X, which I loved. It was like one of my favorites.
I remember the original Sonic cartoons, like the Sonic Sat AM, and
Yeah,
then the Friday and then the afternoon one, and it largely
you remember the Pingas one.
yes, I do remember Pingus. I remember the Sonic Sads. I remember more of the Sonic Says segments because like they
Yeah,
literally had a bad touch Sonic Says
yeah,
segment, and that was just like, oh my god, they actually said that. Like, okay, this isn't cartoons, but it's kind of cartoon tangentially related. So I was really big on the Muppets as a kid and stuff. Do you remember the ABC sitcom Dinosaurs?
it had a movie too, right?
I don't think so.
But isn't that
SARS.
the one where they were like they were where there were costumes?
Well, yeah, no, we are probably thinking the same thing. Let's see, copy link and paste. Dinosaurs TV series. It was. I think Jim Henson just died before it aired. Like he was part of the pre-production, and it was one of the last things he worked on before passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gray knows what I'm talking about, not the mama. Like the baby character. It's like not the mama.
Yeah. That I do recognize a bit. I wish there were like screenshots of this, but I'm just gonna Google search it.
Yeah, just Google dinosaurs Jim Henson, and you'll get a bunch of images of the show.
Oh yeah. I know this one. I've seen this.
Okay,
I recognize like the dad with his lumberjack shirt.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Even as a kid, I grew up on a lot of sitcoms, specifically the slob coms, like the Archie Bunkers, the Married with Children, the Murphy Browns. Like
My my
Roseanne.
mom loved Married with Children, so I think I watched every episode.
Married with Children was a good show.
I think it was kind of funny actually.
Well, I'm sure you probably appreciate it more as an adult, given the humor.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it when I was like 12 or 10.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I watched it around that same time too, but I'm sure a majority of jokes flew over my head and stuff. I'm watching it now, I'd be like, oh, if I were to watch it now, I'd be like, oh, damn.
I did like the He-Man Woman Haters Club. I thought that was I always like that those segments where they would like gather in the garage and conspire against their wives. I thought that was really funny.
Speaking of that, I'm going to show my Canadianism and stuff. There was a like late '90s, early 2000s. There was a live action show in Canada called The Red Green Show, and it was a lot of that stuff. Like poking fun of Canadianism, but mostly like men and stuff. Is like,
Red Green.
let me just pull it up. Red Green Show.
It pops up instantly when you search Red Green, the Red Green Show.
Yeah, because here's the thing about Canadian TV. There's a Canadian entertainment has always been and will always be sketch comedy. We are sketch comedy kings. Like SCTV, Kids in the Hall, and stuff. Like all the major quote unquote American sitcoms, not sitcoms, sketch comedy shows that the people think are American,
Canadians
are actually Canadians. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the actors as well, actors and comedians. There's like a ton of Canadians. Like Ryan Gosling is the one I think of instantly.
Well, yeah, because like I mentioned John Candy before. John Candy was Canadian. Uh,
Yeah. Wasn't like because Ryan Gosling was in that like Mickey Mouse Kids Club or whatever. Weren't they all Canadians?
I think I'm not sure about the Mickey Club show and stuff. I do know a bunch of early live action Disney shows were Canadian productions because it was cheaper to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Swedish television was like in the 90s and like early 2000s, it was a lot of sketch comedy as well. And that's also like one of the big ones, but this is like we don't have comedy shows anymore. They're like died out, all of them.
Well, to be fair, comedy taking a hit is because of Clown World. We can firmly blame that for
Yeah,
modern entertainment being what it is.
yeah, and I mean, like in our case, it's also more availability of English language comedy. So it's like that killed a lot of our own shows, unfortunately.
Well, here's the thing. Like English language, like okay, let's just be honest. Like American entertainment is the be all end all juggernaut. Like it even does supersede Canadian entertainment. Our government does have on the books laws for Canadian content and stuff. Like if you're a broadcaster in Canada, you have to meet a minimum quota for Canadian
Yeah,
content and stuff, and
Canadian shows.
that was hard back in the day, and it's even harder now. It's now with the market the way it is.
Yeah, it was actually sort of funny when I grew up because it wasn't. I think British shows were like really big early 2000s here. I think almost bigger than American and Canadian shows probably. Because like The Office season 1 and 2 were enormous, for example, and like all the like British murder dramas, like Midsummer Murders, I think like ran uninterrupted for almost 15 years. I think it was something like everyone would watch every day.
Well, we also kind of had a lot of Canada being what it is. We also had a lot of British influences and stuff. So if it was a big thing on BBC, like Doctor Who, uh, fuck, what's that big soap opera? Everyone doesn't
Yeah,
shut up.
that one has ran like concurrently with England, actually, in Sweden.
Really?
It's yeah, I don't know what's it called. Is the one I don't know the English name. I know the Swedish name. It's named Hem till Gården, but I don't know what it's called in
Yeah,
English.
because I'm going through my mental Rolodex of BBC shows I grew up on, and it kind of comes down to Doctor Who, Mr. Bean, well, okay, pretty much anything with Rowan Atkinson. So like all the
And
Blackaders.
yeah, it's Emmersdale.
Okay, yeah, I do recognize that name.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It premiered in Sweden in '75, and then it went concurrently, basically.
Yeah, Uber in chat. Rowan Atkinson is timeless. I've watched every
Yeah.
single permutation of his. Okay, so Rowan Atkinson, he has a live theater production a show that he kind of tweaks over the years and stuff. And I've seen almost every iteration of his Rowan
Mhm.
Atkinson live stuff because he is fucking hilarious.
Have you, have you seen when he did like sketch comedy on the BBC, and he was a bit controversial for a while because he went like, "So our immigrants are from India and Pakistan, and that's nice and all with the curry, but we have the recipes now. They can leave." Have you ever seen that one?
No, I did see that one, and here's the thing: he's always been apologetic for that. Like for example, his Rowan Atkinson live skit. One of them is that he plays an Indian caricature, and
Uh,
he's in one of his last shows. He says straight up, "It's like if any of you find this offensive, fuck off. I don't care. This is funny."
but yeah, I watched all the Blackadder, and Mr. Bean was huge on TV as well.
Yeah,
So I watched all those. My
I,
dad really loved Mr. Bean, and he loved the Mini Coopers. So I think we watched it mostly for the car sometimes.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I did like Mr. Bean, but I think Rowan Atkinson. He's amazing in Mr. Bean. Like he is a talented actor and stuff. But I do like his more speaking role. So like the Blackadders and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
Blackadder.
he is fucking witty and he's sharp. I just love him so much.
Yeah, I probably like. Probably think Blackadder is probably the best thing he did.
Well, also Blackadder. The show was like a who's who of like British
British comedy.
British comedy and also British actors because you had like Hugh
Yeah,
Laurie, John Cleese, like all the Python guys were in there from time to time and stuff, and it's just like that was like British humor a game was the Blackadder series.
you know. Speaking of British stuff, did you ever watch the Yellow Submarine animated movie?
Like the full one, yes,
Yeah,
I did.
because that I remember watching that as a kid as well, like on TV.
Well, like I remember the original, like the cut down music video version of it. That was the first time I saw it, but then I saw the extended, like full run cut of it and stuff, and it's just like, okay, I can understand why these other segments got cut because it got a little loopy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was really cool actually.
Oh, don't get me
So
wrong, it was
very
pretty.
very trippy thing to show on TV.
Oh, I just had a random thought. So, since I had the illegal American satellite, one of the channels I had was a sci-fi channel. Uh,
Hmm.
they what was it called? I think the show itself was called Exposure, but it was kind of the series was named Exposure, and what it was a pilot. It was like each episode was a pilot for a different show, and a lot of those shows did actually go on to doing them, and one of them was Tripping the Rift.
Yeah, and I think I know what you're talking about because I think they've done similar to like Exposure on Netflix. I think they do like sci-fi shorts that sometimes get turned into full series. I don't know if it is Exposure, but I don't, I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
I'm sure there's a bunch of different shows that do this format and stuff because I remember an earlier version of that there was called Cartoon Sushi on MTV. That's how you got it, like Aeon Flux and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, I don't think they had that on our MTV, but it was MTV was the way I watched um, Black Lagoon. MTV broadcast Black
Really?
Lagoon here. Yeah,
Wow.
I think that was the first. That might have been the first anime I watched that I knew was from Japan. Actually, that was like they did that late at night. They at past 10 p.m. I think they started showing Black Lagoon. Really great, actually.
I love Black Lagoon. That's a good show.
Yeah. I mean, it really helped get me into anime a lot of ways because it was like they straight up said it was Japanese, so I knew there was something called anime all of a sudden.
Well, honestly, like I watched anime when I was like a little kid, and I didn't know it at the time. So, like, honestly, my main contender for the first anime I watched is either the '80s Astro Boy, the original Sailor Moon, original Dragon Ball, or out of left field, the old Hello Kitty cartoon.
I mean, for me, it was probably Pokemon. So I watched that when I was maybe 5. So I think it wasn't really allowed to watch TV before that. So I think probably Pokemon or Sailor Moon was the first anime I ever saw.
Yeah, both my parents work, so the TV was the babysitter.
Uh, yeah, I mean, both my parents worked as well, but we have. I mean, our parents here can take 3 years of work with pay, so there was always someone at home for me when I was little.
Ah. Oh God, I recognize Captain Future. I recognize the title, but I don't think I ever saw it. Yeah, I'm just reading chat.
Wow, that's old.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Wow, that's old. Sorta old at least. Like, 78.
Well, Sigma also mentioned Case Closed, and Case Closed is probably honestly one of the longest running animes of all time.
I think they had the manga for Case Closed, but not. I don't think they ever broadcast the anime, as far as I know. I would read like we didn't really have a bookstore, so the only place where we bought books were like I don't know, I think probably same in Canada, but like there's one day a year where all bookstores have like a complete like super sale where everything gets like 80% markdown. So that's when my family would buy all the books for the year. So we went to like so even the supermarkets sell out their books, and there was like was when I was like 6, and they had the Dragon Ball in One Piece, and that's like the first manga I ever read, because it was like, these cost $1 a piece. So we bought all the Dragon Balls they had.
Nah,
So that's like the first manga.
in my case, I grew up rural Canada, so we didn't exactly have stores to go to. My book field was kind of like the scholastic book fairs that the school would have, and that was pretty much my limitation of being able to get books as a kid.
I don't know what a scholastic book fair is.
Well, it's okay. The Scholastic was the brand, but what book fairs were just like okay, here's a pamphlet. Like the English teacher would get like a stack of pamphlets and hand them out to the kids, and they were effectively catalogs for books that you could order.
So it's like post order.
Pretty much.
Okay. I mean,
because like that's how I got into Goosebumps and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, we had like a ton of Goosebumps books from my sister, so I read all those. I really loved them. And that was actually like, I like that show, the Goosebumps show.
It was okay.
I thought it was like some of them pretty creepy.
Well, yeah. For okay, I am a lifelong horror guy, so I watched like slasher flicks when I was like 5 and shit and stuff. So when Goosebumps came on the TV and stuff, I was like, oh, this is cute.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Like I had a cousin who was, his task was to like babysit me when we had family meetups, and he got really into horror movies. So I watched like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at 8. It was like,
yeah, like shit like that. There, like I remember when I was a little kid, like the video store would have a horror section, and like the VHS covers would scare me, but I'm like, I want that one.
yeah. Speaking of that, like I remember watching RoboCop really early.
Oh God, we all did, but the thing was that was not a kids movie.
No, and then was like right after that I saw the cartoon. It went from like R-rated to E-rated. It was so weird because like, why isn't RoboCop blowing their dicks off? That's what RoboCop does.
Well, here's the thing: RoboCop wasn't the only one. about that. Like a bunch of 70s and 80s
Toxic
action and horror
Avenger.
movies got like found a market with kids, and then they got like cartoon or comic adaptations kind of thing.
I was so it's like, oh, we have to make money from this franchise.
Pretty much.
Oh, let's make a kids show
Oh
from this like
God,
80s
Uber just mentioned that. Yeah, I remember there was a Rambo cartoon too.
one hell of a choice for a kids cartoon.
Oh God, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and I mentioned it before, but Toxic Avenger, I remember had a cartoon, and that was probably the weirdest one to me
I love the
because
Toxic Avenger.
yeah, but it's like it's weird that that one got a cartoon because
Okay,
it's not like I mean Toxic Avenger is like a known movie that people watched, but it's not like this super mega hit.
well, no, like I understand it because Toxic Avenger was, like those movies were like cheapo Roger Corman films and stuff. But I can understand, I can easily see how that property, someone could look at it. It's like I can make cartoons and toys out of this. I can see that because it was like
You know what?
because it was like kids like gross things like remember like the garbage pail kid fad.
Pale Kids, yeah.
Yeah,
We had we had like bootleg Garbage Pail Kids from Norway. That was like it was its own thing with like a weird green man who would get like tortured and put into radioactive waste and stuff. It was like really weird.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because like shit like that there was really popular. Like great saying like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes had a cartoon too. Yeah, pretty much it was a property like late 80s, early 90s. Everything got the cartoon treatment because everyone wanted to be the next Ninja Turtles. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because Ninja Turtles was like an adult comic from the start as well.
Yes.
It was like a parody of I don't remember what it was like a parody of, but it was like very very violent.
Well, yeah. Here's the like I remember like I grew up cartoon first, and then I learned about the comics later. Words, but the comics I got into for Turtles were like adaptations of the cartoon. But then I found the original comics. And I was like, oh, this is completely fucking different. Holy shit!
Yeah. You know, wasn't the Toxic Avenger cartoon series, wasn't that an environmentalist cartoon as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It got the environmental treatment and stuff because it was either. Yeah, yeah, toxic. Yeah, they did. I did watch a bunch of it and stuff, and I'm just thinking back, and it's like, yeah, they did get the environmental. Don't pollute kids, or else you end up like this guy.
It makes sense from like how the Toxic Avenger is made, I guess. But like, you know what? We talked about like environmentalist cartoons before, and like, I just popped in my head, but like Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. That's probably the best one.
Yes, Nazca, the Valley of the Wind is unabashedly an environmental movie and stuff, but it's so fucking good. You just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like mind environmental messages.
I really
I
don't.
am like so, but yeah, like that's probably my favorite Ghibli movie. If I had to choose one, probably my
Oh,
favorite.
that's like just going on the entire Ghibli discography. That's a tough one. I honestly
Yeah,
probably
yeah, I know.
I probably have to go Nazca too, just because it's the first. The first it is the first. Like I know Nazca was made before they conglomerated into a production company. It's the same thing as Sherlock Hound. Like all those guys made Nazca before Ghibli became a quote unquote thing. But to be pedantic, I will count it as a Ghibli film, and it would have to be my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so amazingly well done. And I always think back to spoilers for Nausicaa, I guess, a movie from 1984. But it's like I always think about in the end when the imperfect bioweapon fires it's like a very Godzilla-esque beam, I must say. I always
well,
think
well,
back to that because
yeah.
that like yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, go on.
yeah, the God Warrior's beam weapon was the direct inspiration for the Shin Godzilla breath weapon.
And who did the animation for the God Warrior?
Oh yeah, it was. It was Anno, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I watched Nausicaa when I was maybe 10 or something, and I think that was like one of the first times I saw like action animation that like floored me. I was like, wow, you can do this. You can do this without like any special effects. You can do this by hand, just by drawing, and I was totally floored by just that moment. That's like stuck with me the rest of my life, I think.
Yeah, I completely forgot that. I like it totally escaped my mind that Anno is also a animator.
Yeah, and have you ever watched the
Anime.
Wings of Honyanis?
Yeah, yeah, I love that one. There, that's a good movie too. Oh,
Because when the rocket explodes, that's supposedly Anno's animation as well,
I can see that. Yeah. Oh, I just saw.
and that's like so
I just
cool.
had a thought. Did you ever watch the? Did you ever watch Japan's Fantasia, aka Robot Carnival?
Yep, I watched Robot Carnival.
I love Robot Carnival. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there has been a couple of like let's hire different creators and what's it called, an anthology movie where it's like
Yes.
the same theme, different directors, and I mean, it's either Robot Carnival or Memories that is the best one because they're like top of the line directors in their prime,
Yeah,
like doing amazing work.
yeah. Truth be told, it doesn't matter in the medium, either like written, film, or animation and stuff. I am a big sucker for anthologies.
Yeah, I mean, there's this sort of like I think people like want to be invested over a longer time rather than having like a short, high quality experience that I cannot understand. Because if something is like amazing for 20 seconds, that's better than something being mediocre for 20 minutes to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like that's why I like watching like Cartoon Sushi and Exposure and stuff because they were pilot anthologies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking Robot Carnival now, and there's like none of those short films that I think is bad at all. I think they're all great. And I remember them all as well I just need to see the names and I remember all. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
they have like
it's a visual medium, so you have to see it. It's like, oh, I remember saying that now. Like
yeah.
hearing a name as an adult doesn't mean anything because you watched it as a kid, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said, no shit, I just had a thought and now it's escaping. Come back, thought. It was a good idea. Fuck. Anthology. That was a thought. Oh, Heavy Metal, the movie Heavy Metal.
Yeah, Heavy Metal the movie. Yeah, I watched that quite a long time ago. I need to watch that one again actually because it was I watched it when Brutal Legend came out. Do you remember that game?
Yeah. The Jack Black game. Yeah, I remember that.
Because that isn't that like a sequel? I think
Okay,
it's like storyline related
okay,
somehow.
okay. Jack Black's game's Brutal Legend takes a lot of homages from like heavy metal culture, including the film Heavy Metal. But Heavy Metal actually did have a sequel film in the I think it was came out in
Yeah,
2000 or 2001. It was literally called Heavy Metal 2000.
yep. I think wasn't that pretty good as well?
Well, I didn't. Okay, I do remember it, and I didn't like it nearly as much as the original because the original was an anthology, a musical anthology, and the sequel was a straight up story movie, like a sci-fi.
Ah,
It was a straight up sci-fi movie, so it kind of lost the charm.
yeah, okay. Probably not as good music as well.
No, it was early 2000s, like grunge rock kind of stuff. It was not
Yeah, because
good.
like I mean, like looking at the band list, and it's like 81 with like Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, Sammy Hagar, Don Felder, Sheep Trick, Devo, Journey, and the Nazareth. That's like one hell of a list.
Yeah, yeah. You would have to like if you were to do a proper heavy metal sequel, you'd have to do like say like 90s the big ones. So like you'd have to have like Metallica and like Judas Priest and like shit like that. If you were to do like a
Uh,
proper sequel.
Iron Maiden and 90s. I'm not that good at 90s metal, but
Yeah, I'm kind of more like for me it's like 80s blank 90s and then like the 2000 stuff like the more stuff I'm into now, but like 90s like Metallica, Slipknot, fuck.
yeah,
Uh
I'm like sort of 80s and current, and it's blank in the middle there.
yeah, but there was a lot of good heavy metal in the 90s and stuff. It's kind of like I don't know, high school me 90s metal was all about high school me. I was all on board with that there, but like afterwards when I went to university and discovered like all these little niche genres of metal and stuff, and it's like I never looked back kind of thing.
No, no, I get that. I had a friend who was like real big into metal music, so I got exposed secondhand.
Oh, speaking of animation and
And Interstellar 555. Yeah,
yes, yes, oh
yeah, that's
god.
that's great. I'll actually that's like I mean it's also Discovery. The album is like
Well,
unequivocally the best Daft Punk album. It's like
well,
no
yes.
competition.
Oh, I don't think I've ever met someone who would argue that the Discovery wasn't their best album. And the fact they got a full
No,
animated movie out of it and stuff, that's just icing on the cake.
yeah, and I mean it's also like sort of like cool that they just loved Leiji Matsumoto's work so much that like they made it big. So they're like, oh, let's just buy our favorite anime director and have him make a movie about us with our music. It's like it's like very indulgent, but it's like so good. The
Oh,
correct indulgent. They deserve to be indulgent for making Discovery because that's like one hell of an album.
speaking of music and animation,
Yeah.
Gorillas.
Yeah, that's what's his name? A-Barn from Blur, who leads that, I think.
I forget. Like here's my opinion on virtual bands. I actually legitimately treat the band as a band stuff, and I don't look. It's kind of like it's sort of like VTubers. I don't really care too much about the person behind the character and stuff. I'm all about the character and stuff. So with Gorillas and stuff, like I know like the independent works of the guys who do Gorillas and stuff, but I don't really pay attention to that too much.
Yeah, but Blur, you probably heard, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
About.
yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
song 2 was like international, worldwide hit.
Well, there was no getting away. There was no getting away from that.
No, like song 2, I think it was, right? That was a big.
Oh God. Yeah, I think you're right.
It was like a joke song about alt rock at the time, and it sounded exactly like alt rock did. But like, yeah, I mean, Gorillaz are great, and they were. I mean, I grew up with Gorillaz because they were super huge at the time. I was in like grade school. Everyone loved the music videos, of course.
Well, yeah, because I remember the Gorillas music videos got a shit ton of playtime on Toonami.
Yeah, and like MTV, and
That too.
we had our own music channel, TV 1000.
Yeah, ours.
They were more alt. They were like an alt channel, so they would
Yeah,
do like a lot of Gorillas.
yeah. Our MTV knockoff was called Much Music. That was the Canadian version.
Sounds like a fucking dog meme.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Actually, I'm just thinking. We didn't. Canada didn't have Cartoon Network because that was the American station, but we had Teletoon was the Canadian cartoon network that we had and stuff. And they actually played a lot of Canadian cartoons and stuff and whatnot. Because you have to remember, shit like Beast Wars and Reboot were Canadian productions.
I I don't know. People seem to love Reboot. I think it looks so disgusting.
Well, you have to remember, Reboot was the first broadcast CG cartoon, so of course it's going to show its age.
Was it?
It was.
Was it? Ah,
Reboot was the first CG syndicated cartoon, and Beast Wars was the second. So they were both made by Mainframe Entertainment.
when was you remember the Donkey Kong cartoon from France?
Yep, I remember watching. I remember watching the CG Donkey Kong from France. I
Is
remember.
that like the third then or something? Because they must be
It was one of the earlier
functional.
ones. I'll agree with you on that one.
No, that one I like a lot more actually because the songs were actually good.
Well, here's the thing with the CG Donkey Kong. The writing was pretty good too. Like the writing was pretty tight. They were very funny.
Yeah, and the guy that got to voice Donkey Kong was like really good singer. Like he was probably a bit better than they deserved, honestly.
I'm just having my mind blown right now. I found the Wikipedia page for the CG animated series, and the reboot wasn't the first. The first CG was a France one called Quarkses.
They were the first on the French. Ah.
Yeah, so let's see, Quarkses, Transformers 2. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Moxie Show, I've never heard of that. VeggieTales. VeggieTales is fuck. VeggieTales and Insectors are older than fucking Reboot. Oh my fucking god. I did not know this.
Never watched VeggieTales. I didn't even know it existed until 2018 or something. Never heard about it before.
VeggieTales is actually surprisingly funny. They have good writers. I know it's a Bible show. I know it's a Bible show, but it's a good one.
I never saw it. I haven't seen an episode. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, speaking of Bible cartoons. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't have a large audience to pull from, but did anyone watch in like the late 80s or early 90s a Adam and Eve movie? And it was an animated Adam and Eve movie. I've been trying to look for this for decades right now, and I can't find it in any permutation or anyone who knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And the only thing I remember, it's an animated Adam and Eve movie. The world, Eden's kind of like a prehistoric wasteland, and Satan is a shape shifting monster.
Yeah.
I know. I'm shooting for the stars on this one here, but this has been bugging me for decades.
Sort of feel like I recognize it, but
Like I remember
sounds similar.
I remember the overarching design for Satan is that he has like a like the mouthpiece for a space marine, how it's a triangle.
Yeah.
That's literally the all I can remember from the depiction of Satan in this cartoon.
He has he has like the Darth Vader mouth.
Yes, he does. Yeah, actually, that makes more sense now. They were based on Darth Vader. That makes a lot more sense now.
How long was it?
I don't know. I know it was a movie. It wasn't an animated series or an OVA kind of thing stuff. I know it was a movie because I rented it. Okay, I'm actually going to Google food now. It's been
You know what? Is it The Creation from Hanna-Barbera from 1988?
gonna open up a new tab. Creation. No. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna have to actually look at YouTube on this here because I need. Again, this is coming back to I have to see it.
Yeah, because that's the only like one I can think of that matches. Because I think I watched that in school. Actually, I thought
No,
I had a
I
Bible class.
okay. No, I actually did watch. I did actually watch this. I do remember watching this, but it's not the one I'm thinking of. Because it's one of those things. It's like a Bible anything. It's like a needle in a haystack because there's so much of it.
Yeah. I don't. There's like a ton of it. It's really hard to. It's such a vague thing. Also, so because I remember I watched a French animated movie that was like, for kids. I think it was about sex actually. Now that I think about it, it was like a birds and bees movie, and that had like a segment with Adam and Eve in it. I don't know if that one was. It doesn't match anything else.
Yeah, because I'm just like endlessly scrolling through like Adam and Eve cartoon Google image search and stuff, and it's just like, oh my god, there's so much. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things I might have to go to my grave never finding again because I remember for the longest time when I was a kid, Robot Carnival was kind of like my white whale for cartoons and
Yeah,
stuff because I saw it like once on TV and then was like, what was that thing? And then I find it in college and like, oh, it was that. Nice. Scratch one off the list.
yeah. I sort of had that with oh, I can't remember the name now, but do you know the one where a dog escapes like a lab, and he has to run away from the hunters that hunting him? I think that's a Canadian one.
Lab, like from a science lab.
Yeah.
The only animal thing with science lab I remember is a sacred nim.
Old. Because I think that one got like some notoriety recently for some reason. I think it got like an uptick. Someone probably made a video about it.
Greatest heroes of legends of the Bible. No, no. I know what you're talking about, Gray. I saw a little YouTube clip of it. I did remember watching that, but that's not specifically the Adam and Eve story I'm thinking of. Well, I know what I'm doing this
The
weekend.
plague dogs.
Plague. Oh yeah, yeah. It did involve a lab, but yeah. Okay, yeah. Plague Dogs. Plague Dogs was a trip. Plague Dogs was kind of like Watership Down. It's kind of like, oh, okay, watch this, and it's like, oh my god, what the fuck.
Yeah, because I watched that when I was really young, and I like had no idea what it was called or anything, and I found it just because I was looking for movies that John Hurt was in because he's like one of my favorite actors, and that's how I found that movie 20 years later, I think.
Well, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you go back and it's just like I don't. Okay, here's my go-to example for that kind of thing stuff. I remember watching Shining Time Station as a kid and stuff, but then when I became an adult, I'm like, I recognize that guy. Oh my god, George Carlin was a conductor. What the fuck?
Yeah, I just recently watched like one of those like commercial compilations, and it's like a Listerine commercial, and one of the guys in it is Morgan Freeman, pre he being famous.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like I remember. Okay, so I mentioned Tom Kenny earlier from SpongeBob and stuff, and yeah, here's the thing that people don't know about animation. Doing like cartoons and movies and stuff is nice, but how voice actors pay the bills is doing voiceover for commercials and stuff. So I remember going to a convention one time and I went to a panel with Tom Kenny and he is fucking hilarious. He can do improv like no one's business. And he was telling a story like he was telling like, okay, hey kids, I may be the voice of SpongeBob and the Ice King, but here's how I pay the bills. And he started doing a bunch of how should I put it, voiceover lines for adult products in like his cartoon voices, and it was fucking hilarious. So he did a Viagra read through in the Ice King voice. It was hilarious.
Well, gotta keep a roof over your head somehow.
But it's one of those things. It was a come to God moment where I'm just like I kind of lean back. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, this is yeah, that makes sense. Pay the bills. But then doing it in that kind of context and stuff, and oh god, it was so fucking funny. And I think also that was probably a good year for voice panels and stuff because I also went to a panel that year for Rob Paulson. Like Rob Paulson did a bunch of stuff, but he did like a couple of the Turtles from the '80s cartoons. He did Animaniacs and stuff.
Okay.
But he was also a good entertainer and stuff because he was pretty good at improv. Like for example, Rob Paulson, he finished off his panel by doing completely straight, without error, the country song from Animaniacs.
Yeah. I mean, convention panels used to be a lot wilder before the advent
Yes.
of handheld high megapixel cameras everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. Like I wasn't able to go to conventions and stuff until like after university and after I was working and could actually afford to go to the damn things and stuff. And me and my friend when I was in Calgary, we went to like the Calgary Expo every year for quite a number of years. But I forget what year we kind of just one year. I can't remember what year it was. It might have been the Gamergate year. I shit you not. I think it was the Gamergate year. We we went to that convention. Shit went down. We looked at each other and like, okay, we're done. It was a good run.
Yeah, I remember there aren't that many conventions around here. There's like one big in for like anime because I've only been to anime conventions.
Yeah.
Like one big in Finland, one big in Sweden. The big one in Sweden is Närcon, and I went to that. Must have been 2014 or something, and I went there with my friend that's never been to a convention before, and it was like there was like gay stuff everywhere. So we went to the camping because we lived far away, so we didn't want to like go take a car or a bus or a train home every day. So we camped in a tent there, and they had toilets, and that was the first time I ever heard of like gender queer, because they had a toilet for the men, they had a toilet for the ladies, and they had the gender queer toilet, and it was like that was where the showers was. So it was like, and it was like world's biggest line for the men's toilet, of course, because basically only men there. So we're like, okay, this is going to look bad. So let's hope no one is photographing or filming now. But let's go to the gay toilet. So we went. We were. It was like it went on for like 4 days, and I think we were the only ones to use that toilet. But we started using it all the time instead because it was always free. So we would like take 50-minute long showers in our own like private toilet and shower room. It was so stupid.
No shame, man. No shame. You do what you got to do. Work the system.
Yeah, and we also accidentally walked into a yaoi panel,
Oh no.
and we like took because it was it's like in a university, so we like walked into the wrong lecture hall. So we like walked in when it was like 1 minute in progress, and like 200 women just stared at us too, walking in there, and we ran out when we realized where we were. We
Uh,
were not safe.
oh, speaking of convention stories, okay, so you remember that guy with the glasses?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so their convention they went to was a small Canadian convention called Con Bravo, and I went there one year to see it because this was beginning of the end, but just coming off the high. of that guy, like that group's internet fame. So I went to
Was it pre-Kick Ass or right after?
Pre movies.
Oh, okay.
So the movies were the beginning and the end, but I digress. So I went to Con Bravo, and it was one of those things where it's like, oh my god, they really are losers. It was so surreal because I chit chatted with a bunch of them and like hallways and stuff and like after panels and stuff. I'm like, man, they are legitimately a bunch of losers. Huh.
The only one I think I did follow like that guy with the glasses because I liked Spoonie's videos, of course.
Well, yeah, that was the thing most
When
of
he
us went
made
to. Yeah,
yeah.
before he
And I
went
watched
batshit.
yeah, yeah, really. And like I also watched the guy who would watch like splatter movies.
Uh,
It's like a bald guy.
I don't know about guy, but I remember Brad Jones watched a bunch of exploitation films.
That's probably him because he I don't think he called himself Brad Jones then. I think he had like one of the stupid like nicknames as well.
Oh no, you're
But I
probably
think
no, you're probably thinking of his friend, the big bald one who couldn't keep his mouth shut.
no, it was like a pretty skinny guy who he was married, I remember, so he was never in any scandal or anything.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm also
And
I'm also kind of remembering for Con Bravo because there's a online sketch comedy group called Loading Ready Run, and they're a bunch of Canadian guys, and I mostly know them for Magic the Gathering videos and stuff. And that one Con Bravo I went to, they ran a Magic tournament, and I scrubbed out really early in that tournament. It was bad.
yeah, that's like one funny con thing is that uh, there was do you remember when there was like this is actually VTuber related, funny enough. When there was I broke the news. No, I just reposted the Twitter thing. But you know that new company that was under Brave Group who were launching like European VTubers.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was like a Swedish guy there, and it was like I just read his bio and shit, and I was like, oh, he's a teacher. He plays Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, fuck, I probably played this guy in Yu-Gi-Oh at the convention.
Maybe.
Like 90% certainty I played this guy. So I'm like really afraid I'm going to know him by name if I watch him.
Oh, and there's also another. I know the guy you're talking about, but there's also another Swedish VTuber. He works for Ninja Sanji now. Fuck, I
Yeah,
can't.
I know that guy.
You
Not directly, but he's like acquaintance of an acquaintance.
yeah, Ike, yeah, because I remember Ike when he was still doing his metal videos on YouTube under I forget what his YouTube name was, but I remember I knew him before he became Ike and stuff. So when he went over to Ninja Sanji, oh, that's neat. I tried watching a few of his videos, but it's just like, nah, he's better for music production, not carrying a stream.
Yeah. I also see. Did you win? I don't know. Depends on who was playing. I wasn't really great because I got left behind in the new metas in Yu-Gi-Oh. I stopped around like pendulum summoning and stuff. That was too much for me.
One of my friends. Okay, we were all Magic kids, but one of us was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh, and he tried to get us into it, and we were like, "Fuck, this is bad." Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't fun for us because we all grew up with Magic, so it's just like I was the Pokemon guy. Like I tried to get everyone into Pokemon TCG, but that never took.
No, I was always into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I had a couple of friends who tried to make me play Magic, and it just I can't play. I can't play Magic. It was just too little text on the cards for me. I need to read at least 2 paragraphs with every card, or I don't feel at home.
Yeah, like I've always been a tabletop game guy and stuff. Like I remember, like even though we all play Magic, we would always try at least try some of the other ones. Like I remember, fuck. Dungeons and Dragons had a card game called Rage Wars, and it was based on the Blood Wars, like the
Mhm.
Devils versus Demons storyline. And we were like, it's fine. There's no magic.
What edition was that?
I want to say two. Like
Okay,
it was
yeah.
an AD&D product or tie-in.
Okay. Okay. I've only played AD&D.
Okay, yeah. And I remember, White Wolf, like their Vampire the Masquerade. They didn't have a card game, but their Werewolf the Apocalypse had a card
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I remember that because White Wolf has like outsized influence over here, or at least they did in like TTRPG circles. So yeah.
Yeah, it was only me and my best friend. We liked playing Vampire the Masquerade, like the original edition stuff, and we try to get our friends into it and stuff. But they were always just like, we would rather play D&D. So we always would try to shoot off a vampire game, but then it's like people lose interest. And I'm like, okay, fine, for the sake of keeping the group together, we'll play D&D.
Yeah, like I can't play D&D. I think it's like such a boring system, and I really tried to like get people to play Hunter, which was the old one. Hunter the Reckoning, I think was the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Hunter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hunter is the human
Yeah,
branch for the White Wolf metaverse.
yeah, because me and a friend were really into Supernatural, the TV series.
Well, why
So we
didn't you?
thought like
Why didn't you?
Hunter was like the
Well,
coolest
if you
thing
were
ever.
into that, why didn't you play Mage the Ascension?
Yeah, I didn't like Mage because I felt Mage was like overpowered.
Well, yeah.
Basic.
As far as the game mechanics go, the original edition for Mage, yeah, it was a broken system. No ifs ands buts. That was broken as hell.
Yeah, and I thought it was like cooler to do the whole like, oh, you're sort of an underdog, but God question mark has given you powers to fight the darkness. I always thought that was like a cool concept because
Well, well, at the end
I
of the
like
day, at the end of the day, the Hunter brand was, you want to be Van Helsing? Go for it.
yeah. Yeah, and I was like, I don't like classical fantasy settings so much because I like prefer the like Only War or like Delta Green, like those ones.
I've always wanted to play the Call of Cthulhu games, like especially Delta Green. I've always wanted to play Delta Green, but I could never find a group to pop off with.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
I've never found one.
yeah.
Mostly they're
As far as tabletop RPGs go, probably my favorite fun time was we played. I remember we played one campaign of Dark Sun, the D&D Apocalypse module.
okay.
That was fun. Mostly,
Yeah, I have.
mostly because I'm big on anytime there's a campaign with psionics, I'm all for that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've only played a little bit of D&D. Like the best games I had were probably only war games that I DM'd, but I got completely burned out on it because you have to do all the work. so
Well,
and it was like difficult to get people together as well because I don't think I can do like TTRPGs via Discord and such. It's
no, I totally agree.
too easy to experience.
And truth be told, put a gun to my head. I'm probably more of a war gamer too. Like, I never got into Warhammer, but I'm a big Heroescape. That IP, like Heroescape and the derivative games, like the D&D minis and the Magic Arena Planeswalkers. Like, it's the same guy. The same guy does the system.
Okay, I've only really played Bolt Action when it comes to war games.
I recognize that.
Yeah, it's World War II.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because one of my, yeah, actually, I do remember that because one of my old coworkers, he's a big miniatures guy. He doesn't play, but he paints and collects miniatures, and he showed me that game when he gave me a tour of his collection.
Yeah, because Bolt Action is actually kind of popular, so you can actually find games for it. which helps a lot when you spent thousands of dollars on miniatures and painted them all. So.
Well, don't get me wrong. I am very well aware of the historically accurate World War II tabletop sims. I'm well aware of that level of autism.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably more of a TTRPG player, but it's like, I don't like to rag on Dungeons and Dragons too much, but it is sort of too popular.
No, I get
It
it. I get it.
absorbs all players.
No, I get it. If I were to get back in the pen and paper TTRPG stuff, it would be anything other than D&D at this point, because honestly, Wizards of the Coast has run it into the ground, and I refuse to touch it.
Yeah, and too many. It feels like people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a module for D&D 5." It's like, no, you make another game instead that works better and isn't like kludge. Could you do that, please? And it's like a like dire TTRPG player availability where I live, unfortunately. So it's like, oh, you play Dungeons and Dragons or you don't play anything at all, and then I will not play anything.
Yeah, same here. And much like you, I'm not big on the like. I'm aware tabletop simulator is a thing, but it's just not the fucking same.
No, because it's like having it online is just an excuse for people to get lazy with it. I mean, like it should be easier for people to do it, but when they don't have to commit physically, that like breeds laziness and
It does.
also
It does.
yeah, and it feels like I tried to play online, but like when you go through online tables, a lot of the time it feels like they consist entirely of people who can't play in real life, not because they can't find anyone, but because no one wants to play with them specifically.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's like entire tables of that guy. One that guy is bad enough. I don't need everyone to be the chaotic neutral bard who's really cool and plays a tiefling.
Truth be told, I never played long enough to get to the point of my donut steel OC age that there, because I was kind of born and bred in the old school min max Munchkin era.
Yeah, yeah, where you actually had to like stat things.
Yes. Which is what. Okay, fun little story. When I went to college, the main comic store I went to was mostly Warhammer and stuff, but they also have Magic and D&D. So I mostly played Magic, but when I found out about their D&D campaign and they were going to start a new one, I got in on that one, and I talked with the DM ahead of time and stuff, and for getting approved character and whatnot. And when I first sat down at the table, I was playing a third edition a Psionicist, and I whipped out a calculator, and he was like, "I knew you were going to bring a fucking calculator. I knew it."
Yeah, I'm not doing math in my head. Like
No,
not D&D math.
no, I was like, no, I'm not counting up all this here shit. I'm just like, I need my calculator, because I was a glass. I always play a glass cannon, so it's just like I'm gonna roll the dice, add them all up. I'm dealing this much damage. Next.
Yeah, I mean, like, you said you never got into Warhammer as a war game because
No,
that's awful with the dice.
no,
It's like
no. I'm well aware, because the store I went to, that was their main
yeah,
thing, was Warhammer. So I actually did watch them play Warhammer games, and they would have literally the bucket of d6s. Whoop.
yeah,
Okay.
it's insane. Like I have several friends actually who play the war game, and like one of them plays Imperial Guard, and it's like he does nothing but throw dice forever. It's like how can you? It's like it takes like 20 minutes for one round just because everyone has to fire the fucking last gun 8 times or something.
I know. It was fucking nuts and stuff. And it's not like they were like what? Yeah, it was either second or third edition when I was at that store. It was like, yeah, it was second and third. That was the range I was there. And even then, it was just like, man, it's like looks pretty, looks neat, but it's like, nah, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, it's so irritating that like you have like from your 14 until you're say 25. That's like the time you can play tabletop RPGs, because even if you have the time afterwards, all your friends don't. There's always someone who like has a kid or a wife that won't let him leave the house, so you can never play tabletop RPGs after that. It's so
Well, no, that's
frustrating.
no, I'm well aware because my best friend, my best friend is we're both tabletop guys and stuff, but he actually collects like tabletop RPG books and board games and stuff and whatnot. And whenever I would visit and stuff, that was like, okay, I got all these new games, and we would only get like maybe like 2 or 3 games because we would have to like read and learn the rule set and stuff and get set up, and then like probably do like a round or two, and it's like, okay, but vacation's over, gotta go, peace.
Yeah, that was a depressing conversation.
Yeah, it's like, yep, pining for our youth. Well, that was this entire stream. Let's be real, because we started off with cartoons, so that was the logical conclusion that we were going to get to.
Yeah, I guess.
I know we've been going for 2.5 hours. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sure. I think it's
Okay.
a good run.
I don't really have any closing statements, but good times, good times.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was the most autistic of times. Let's be real. Yeah, I don't know. You have any closing words?
No, not really.
Neither do I. So thanks for coming, everyone. Take care, and let's do this again soon. Peace.
Peace.
End screen.